Hey everybody, welcome back around to the Blog and Grill. I'm your host, Doug, here with your video blog for January 29th, 2014. We're closing in on the end of the month, and we're also closing in on the Super Bowl, which will take place this Sunday. We'll get to some Super Bowl coverage. First off, we'll also talk about my top 4 MVP candidates in the NBA, and we'll do a Syracuse at Wake Forest preview, as those two teams will be going toe-to-toe tonight down in North Carolina. But first I want to talk about Super Bowl week, how it's been going. Really not feeling a whole lot like Super Bowl week. Yesterday was Media Day, and even Media Days into today. Not a huge fan of Media Day. Think it's a little overblown, a little overdone. But overall, people have enjoyed it. I just want to hit on 3 guys that really, 2 guys talked a lot, 1 guy didn't, and I'll get to that. But first off, Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning sounded very presidential in his speeches. Talked a lot about his wide receivers, talked a lot about his legacy, as he's been questioned about that, and talked about how he thinks he will come back next year, and I think he should come back next year, and I ultimately think he will, and that's the main thing I got from his. The next guy I want to talk about, Richard Sherman. A lot of people were talking about the controversy here he stirred up after the NFC title game. He talked a lot about how it's changed him, how he's learned from it, how he's moving on, and ultimately he's shown his intelligence through this, his Stanford education, his good educational background, and ultimately I think he's shown what he's all about and really gave in the media what he actually is and not what they thought he was after his antics during the NFC title game. The final guy I want to talk about is Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch has not been very vocal. He's talked for about 12 minutes over the past 2 days. We know he has trouble talking to the media, not a huge fan of the big crowded media, which you can't blame him. The NFL's talking about fining him for not participating, but really I don't think he can. I mean, the guy has issues, I think, with the media. When he was being asked questions today, his leg was shaking constantly. The thing that I like to see today, his 2 guys, Turbin and Michael Robinson, were both there supporting him, answering questions with him, and that just shows how important his team is to him and what his team really means to him and how close-knit this group really is. Just a really funny thing. Marshawn, I think, is a really good guy. He knows how to play the game, and he's going to make his presence felt on the field, not through the media. So we'll see what happens. I don't think Marshawn should get fined. I think it'd be a little overdone. I think Marshawn's a good guy. He's going to prove it, and he is just a fun guy, really. I think he's a fun guy. They'll get him in a one-on-one interview, and I think it'll be okay. But ultimately, nothing real crazy out of Media Day yet. The big talk's been the weather as well. Just a quick weather update. Right now, the weather report's looking like it's going to be about mid-30s, 10% chance of precipitation, and 5 to 10 mile-per-hour winds. So the wind's not going to be a factor. Temperatures are going to get cooler as the night goes on, but obviously we're not going to have major precipitation. So it looks like the Super Bowl will not be affected by the weather, which is a big thing. We'll have more Super Bowl coverage Friday, and I'll get into that later on. But right now I want to go to my MVP candidates in the NBA, my top 4. Because really my 3 and 4 are equal to me. So I'm going to start with my number 4. My number 4 guy is Steph Curry, averaging 24 points per game. He's shooting 45% from the field, 9.2 assists per game. That's what he's really changed in his game. He's become a great assist guy, finding the ball to Harrison Barnes, Bogut, Lee, Klay Thompson. He's shooting 39% from 3. He shot that ball more this year, and he also is averaging just about 2 steals a game and really making an impact on his team for sure. My number 3 guy, underrated power forward, LaMarcus Aldridge. He's averaging 24.3 points per game, shooting 47% from the field, 11.6 rebounds per game, and he's shooting 82% from the free throw line. I like his numbers. I like what he's done. He's been a major impact guy, a big shot guy in Portland, and he's led the Trailblazers with Lillard to a very solid record in the West. And right now, last night, he had another big game, 27 points and 16 rebounds. My number 2 guy, you're going to be surprised, my number 2 guy right now is LeBron James, 26 points per game, shooting 58%, 7 rebounds, 6.5 assists. Not shooting great from deep, but he doesn't have to because he can get to the rim. I think LeBron's having a good year. I think he's having an MVP caliber year, but the guy that's ahead of him, Kevin Durant, is just doing more, taking more of a load on himself with Westbrook out. Kevin Durant, 31.3 points per game, almost 8 rebounds, shooting 42% from deep, and really assisting a little more too. We're seeing 5.2 assists, and that's an evolution of his game that we haven't seen. So it's going to be fun to see what he can do. Those two guys go toe-to-toe tonight. That's going to be a great matchup to watch. But right now, Kevin Durant is my NBA MVP. I think he could steal it from LeBron this year if he can keep up his scoring performance as he has. Alright, before we get out of here, I want to do a brief Syracuse at Wake Forest preview. Syracuse going on the road tonight. They're 4-0 on the road. A tough road game tonight. Wake Forest is 12-0 at home. We all know Syracuse has been great in close games. I mean, the other day when they were playing Miami and they were tied up with a couple minutes to go, I was sitting there and I was like, alright, no big deal. Syracuse is going to make a run. And they did. They always make that run. They always find a way to get it done late. Tyler Ennis has been great in the clutch. C.J. Fair has found some shots. Jeremy Grant knocked down some big free throws. And the key thing I'm going to be looking at tonight is Miller McIntry, the point guard for Wake Forest, going up against the top of that 2-3 zone. If he can get in the lane and dish, Wake Forest is going to have a good shot to win this game. I think Cooney and Ennis will cut him off, and I think Syracuse will be okay. But the one thing I think Syracuse has to look at is who is going to emerge off the bench for him. Right now they're really playing 7 guys with Coleman out with his knee injury. It's going to be interesting to see. I think ultimately the guy they got to look for is Tyler Robertson. And if not, I think you might want to give Ron Patterson a chance just to see if his length and his size can give you some good, solid defensive minutes and some shot-making ability as well. Ultimately, I think Syracuse will get out of here with a win. They're a 9-point favorite. I'll take those 9, and I'm going to take Syracuse by 11, 65-54. All right, so Friday we'll be back with our final Super Bowl coverage. Super Bowl, we'll look at the key matchups, and it's going to deal with Richard Sherman and Demaryius Thomas. I'll break down what the Broncos should do according to the film to get this one done, and I'll also have my pick for you, which could be a little surprising. Still, Denver's a 2.5-point favorite, so we'll talk about that as well. College Hoops previews, we'll preview Duke and Syracuse at the Dome this weekend. Also, we'll talk about other sports, weekend action, a little Knicks, a little Nets. We'll do it all on Friday. Always remember to follow me on Twitter, YankeeBaller415. That's YankeeBaller415. Looking to expand the blog to a more permanent platform. Just to let you know a little fact, 92 views this month. That's almost, we'll hit 100 hopefully this month. And that'll be the first time we hit 100 since October. So always remember, comment, question, subscribe to my page. Thanks for tuning in to the Blog and Grill. Follow me on Twitter, check me out on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will see you back here on Friday. Have a good rest of your week.